Namaskar. Hello and welcome to P Guru's channel. I'm your host, Sree Iyer. Joining me today is Col Ajay Raina, and we are going to be talking about a follow-up on what has been happening in the Poonch Rajouri section. We know what happened. Then there was some other reaction also from the army. All that appears to have been smoothened out. But what do you do for deterrence? That is what we're going to be talking about. How Indian Army has, reorganized its sources, has regrouped all that, and also Lal Chowk has celebrated the New Year, and we're going to show you a quick video on that, as well as Pir Panjal. What is a Pir Panjal mountain range? What is happening on either side of the Pir Panjal mountain range? All this and more with Colonel Raina ji. Please like this video, and if you have not already subscribed to our channel, do subscribe to our channel. Let's welcome Colonel Raina. Colonel Saab, Ram Ram, how are you?
नमस्कार, राम राम 2024 आप सबको happy 2024. I don't call it New Year. And good evening, good morning, as the case may be. Nice to be back here, Shirji. Thanks.
And they say that the sun has made one more trip, or I should say the earth has made one more trip around the sun, and that's what we are celebrating today. It's just a reference point. Gregorian calendar restarts today. Colonel Raina, the incident that happened, Maruti Gypsy got blown out, and then we talked about the reaction of the Indian Army. That's where we had left, because it was still early days. Take it from there, sir, and talk to us what has been happening since.
Okay, Shirji, I'll just touch upon one point. Again, taking from that day, there was use of armored cars. Somebody had mentioned why are not using armored cars. And I had said that armored cars have a limited mobility. They'll take a lot of road space. And in countryside, like underdeveloped countryside, like we have in Poonch and Rajouri, it may not be feasible if you keep in mind that civilians also traveling and other vehicles also traveling. So, because as a Fauji, what we understand by armored car is a specific vehicle which looks like a tank. No, it looks like a tank. But yes, what has now happened and what was missing there, earlier, no army had mine-proof vehicles called Caspers. You would have seen the photographs of a big green-colored vehicle with a very strange-looking underbody and basically the boat-shaped body, so that the impact of explosion happening underneath it gets dissipated outwards. So that was being used everywhere. That also had mobility issues. Then came bulletproof vehicles, smaller cars. So those cars like Mahindra has also produced in-house in India. So those cars have good mobility. The numbers were, I don't know how many were demanded by or ordered by army. One development is that now those cars are coming into our sector. So that thing is being taken care of. But if you want the tanks or BMP kind of armored cars coming up, that will not happen. That is not feasible. Okay. So Shiriji, what happened thereafter was army, as people react, as we speak, almost 2 brigades. A brigade is 3,000 plus minus few. 2 brigades have come in as per army's own statement. So that means one problem which had happened after move of army or troops from this area, de-induction of troops, and when they were sent to Ladakh, eastern Ladakh, when China came in, those spaces are being filled. So like I had mentioned, I think here that 2 things that happened that time. One was movement of troops. Second was redeployment of troops, whosoever was left behind. So what happens is when you have enough troops, you occupy bases as per the operational needs. So where you have more threat, more activity, so you plonk a base there. When I say base, it is basically a company, 100 or 120 people. They may create a base, a small safe haven, and then from there they operate. So that coverage of the whole area happens. You can't sit in Poonch town or Rajouri town and then aspire to cover whole district, which 2 districts, which can't happen. It's logical. So when the troops moved out, so many bases which were in far off places, they were brought down next to the roadhead. Visibility of army is also one point which is important. People must see you that you are around. So this gives you a lot of security. But what happened in that bargain, the certain areas which are hinterland, away from the roads, away from population areas, they got left out or they got vacated. And those are the areas where these people, 30, 40, whatever numbers we are hearing today, they come in. So with 2 brigades coming in, and I'm sure many more will come in case need is felt as we go closer to the elections. So armies firstly filled up those voids. Some redeployments also happening, so that whatever was vacated now is being taken care of. Another thing which happened is this time, earlier, no, into was always a very hush-hush affair, intelligence. So army used to collect own intelligence, police is doing its own intelligence gathering, and then at some level they will know kind of sit down together or exchange notes, and you hear about the joint operations. Where basically joint operations happen when int comes from police side, and then both parties go together. Now JNK government for first time has announced awards. Okay, you give us news of a drone landing leading to arrest. I mean, if you just say a drone came, I saw a drone flying in from Pakistan, doesn't make a sense. You tell that drone came, probably landed up that place, and so person has picked up the cargo. So there's a good amount of money being offered openly. Then information leading to contact or killing of a terrorist. It's not that earlier it was not there. It was all hidden. Hidden in the sense it was hush-hushed. Because firstly, guy who's giving the information, he doesn't want to be identified because he'll be killed. Mukhbir bol ke usko maar denge. Secondly, when we used to operate in RR, then even cell phones were not there in that part of Valley where I was posted. So we had a lot of issues. Then cell phone came, the communication with sources. Earlier, sources had to come to army base, or we had to go out to the village in the, on the pretext of patrolling or area domination and meet those guys, try to seek information. With technology coming in, it works both ways. Terrorists also had ease of communication. We also had ease of communication. But then award system was not formalized. So it was like something happened, whatever money I may have as a company commander, I'll dish it out to my source. No, it could be anything. Now it is good amount and formally announced. So that is one very important thing. I think somebody's really touched the nerve, because what is happening, I think I mentioned this very forum, that I have seen non-Muslims also working for certain things, those anti-nationals, because of money. Because our area is underdeveloped, employment opportunities are less, focus has always been on Kashmir Valley, so nobody looks this side. So our scenic spots, picnic spots, beautiful places where we could have got our tourists and got made living, locals, those things have not happened. So let's grant the fact that people want to survive, and everybody wants to have a good mobile phone, everybody wants to have a good car, everybody wants to be have facilities which he or she sees on social media. So trapping somebody in the money, the name of money or lure of money, is very easy. To counter that, now this thing is being offered. If I'm that important that I know somebody coming from across this side and paying me 50,000, 1 lakh rupees, whatever, and here's the government paying me 2 lakhs. So you understand how the game is played. So this is one very transparent kind of announcement which has recently been made. So that I think is a good step. Otherwise, not only Rajouri Poonch, like I had mentioned last time, this trail then leads you to Kishtwar area. Kishtwar is again a place which has been very active earlier. And nowadays, nothing has happened, like nothing was happening in Rajouri Poonch. So there also we see a lot of movement, a lot of activities are happening, proactive actions are being taken by army. So as I look at it, nothing can be said with certainty. Shreeji, this game is such dynamic and everything changes every second day. But looks like that this area will now come under control very soon. It is, as we speak, it is under control. Civil unrest didn't happen. There was a small protest. Administration reached out to people, the families of so-called victims. Army also reached out, and army immediately moved the senior officer from there so that there's no influence on the inquiry. So a perception in the public is that, okay, something has happened, good, bad, whatever, and nobody is trying to hide it. Nobody is trying to throw a rule book on you and say, yeah, I'm protected under so-and-so law and you cannot arm a force special act. No, nobody is saying that. People are kind of on the same level with the both sides. People who was supposed to have done something and people who are victims. So that thing is a very good thing which happened, in the sense incident was not good. Killing of jawans bad. Killing of civilians again were not good thing. But thereafter, the reaction, or you say the way system, administration and army and police, everybody's reacted. Inquiry is going on, and people also show a lot of patience and regard for army. Like I said, our area, irrespective of your religious faith, has a lot of soldiers. Every house has a soldier. So that kind of. And one more thing which was happening was, if you would have, I'm sure you know it, the very infamous case, Kathua rape case, which had happened, where a young Gujjar girl had supposed to be been raped in a temple and then killed. No, facts of that case came out later on. A book has been written by Madhu Keshwar, very well researched book, and it came as it happened that it was all a conspiracy, because government Mehbooba Mufti government had just passed a law that if somebody means the migratory people, Gujjars, Bakarwals, if they, what happens normally is that during summers these people go on into upper reaches of mountains where the grazing grounds are. Now those lands are government lands, forest lands. So winters they migrate back into summer zone. So basically, summers may you see them going towards Kashmir or high reaches of Poonch, Pir Panjal, and summer winters they come down. Now those people who are migrated, gypsy kind of, basically Bakarwals, they don't have fixed houses. Now times are changing, everything is, government is making hostels for the kids, but otherwise they love to live this life. They have dogs, temporary illegal kind of hutments in the forest where they live, but summers may they come down. Now when they come down below, lands belong to somebody. I mean, there's no free land. Either land will belong to government or to a private person. Government land, in mountains, wherever you have plain area, so you have schools, you have bus stands, you have facilities, everything. There's hardly any land in mountains leveled, so they don't find. So as a routine or as a tradition, what used to happen, that they'll come down during summers and they'll plonk in one of our lands during the time when there was no crop in the land, because harsh winters actually means that nowadays, like now, wheat is growing in our fields, but a part of our farmland, my own farmland, is kind of vacant because we get a lot of frost here this time of the year, so nothing much grows. So these people will come and sit, spend time. In return, they look after your farm, clean it up, and it's all give and take, butter, and then they'll go back. So Mehbooba Mufti had that time passed a law saying that anybody who comes and possesses your land illegally will not be thrown out. Land may belong to government, land may belong to Mr. Sree Iyer, or it may belong to me. If somebody comes and sits on my land, he has the ownership of the land. Look at this, such a strange law. It was passed in a closed door meeting in cabinet where Jammu minister was not there. So there were a lot of protests. And soon after that, this incident happened, and the investigating team came, all of them came from Kashmir. The case happened in Jammu province, very close to Punjab. And the guys who were brought in to investigate have a very great track record of serving their bosses, political masters. So that misinformation had actually agitated a lot of people a couple of years back. Luckily, thanks to social media and thanks to platforms like yours, facts have started coming out. So this time also people try to play the card. They say, see, that time they killed a girl, this time they killed 3 or 4 men. But touch wood, there was no reaction of that kind. And this area now, south of Pir Panjal, looks very much under control. Like I said, anything can happen anywhere. It's a matter of being vigilant and cautious, which folks are. Other side of Pir Panjal, you said, yes, Lal Chowk, Kashmir is really making a lot of progress. And we only hope and wish that it continues, because area which, the part of our state, erstwhile state, the Kashmir province, which was in turmoil for so many years, has seen one generation, in fact 2 generations almost, when you have a conflict going over 40 years. So you have 2 generations who have been brought up amidst guns and grenade blast and uniformed people all over. That thing is changing. So Lal Chowk celebration last night was almost something very, very historic. It's one thing to have a government function, like 15th August to 26th January, you have a lot of protection, security, you have a Tiranga. Like in the video, you'll see that the famous tower that was constructed by Bajaj company, I think in 60s. So that Bajaj, they don't call it Bajaj Tower, they call it Ghantaghar. The Ghantaghar is now lit up. Whenever you switch on light, it has to be tricolor light. So nobody's trying to, since its installation a couple of years back, there's been no attempt to kind of finger it, break it, or do something with the lighting. Nothing has happened. So very good vibes coming out of Valley, and we all hope and pray and wish that it keeps on going like this. Thanks to younger generation who's seen the logic, who's seen the better part of the life, seen the development, seen jobs being created, new openings happening in Kashmir. And my only request and wish through your platform is that similar kind of things should be extended to Jammu region, so that there's a kind of equal treatment. That feeling of left out is not there. It's been there for the last 70 years. So I think, yeah, it's a positive sign, Shirji. Both sides of Pir Panjal. It's okay.
Thank you so much, sir. And now let's take a quick look at the video.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
It's sub-zero temperature, almost sub-zero.
Yeah, I was going to ask you.
It's
Yeah.
coldest time of the year. 𝗤𝙪𝗀𝗏 they call it. From Iran all the way to Kashmir, this is the coldest period. 𝗤𝙪𝗀𝗏. And 𝗤𝙪𝗀𝗏 means that night temperature will invariably go below zero. And this is in the night. Now, those who may not really get the gist of it, I'll just request, just surf Lal Chowk pictures of about 2019 and before that. You'll see half a building burnt, half of buildings taken by security forces, and market, shabby, ready-wala and all that. Now look at Lal Chowk. It's become the happening place, like Delhi's Knot place. Lal Chowk is similar thing in Kashmir today, Srinagar today.
Colonel Raina, one question I have, after the Article 370 got abrogated, the stone pelting stopped. And it was believed that stone pelting was being funded by fake currency, and somehow that has stopped now. And once that happened, that stone pelting also stopped. Now you're saying that people are getting money from, they are giving local money. Is it again fake currency or is it the real currency? Because Pakistan doesn't have India's real currency as far as I know.
No, the Hawala channels are working. So Pakistan, and the kind of money which we used to see those times, where stone pelting, 500 rupees a day. Day means about an hour or hour and a half of stone pelting. Now imagine 5,000-6,000 people pelting stones almost every day in Kashmir. What kind of money was being pumped into Kashmir? Some of it was fake, most of it was fake, and other, genuine also. Nowadays, if at all it is coming to very few people, like this Poonch Rajouri incident. I belong to that area. The fact that after so-called killing of civilians, no protest, nothing happened, it means that people are not pro-Pakistan, or they don't support community at large, irrespective of religion alignments. People are not in support of such activities. So they have few people who are helping them with guidance, sheltering. So you could count them. Maybe if there are 40 people inside Kashmir Poonch belt today, Rajouri Poonch belt today, as per intelligence assessment, so the supporters won't be more than 40, 50, or maybe 100. So for 100 people, that kind of money, one Hawala transaction can happen. Whereas, in fact, I am still waiting that drone which crashed in Akhnur, same day when jawans got killed. A drone had been caught or crashed in Akhnur with 38,000 rupees of cash, 500 rupees notes. So government is not thereafter opened up or told us that what was that currency counterfeit or it was a proper legal. Yeah. So it's difficult to comment, but I don't think they need that kind of money which they were using about 2019 and before that. But government must tell us what kind of. This is a good question you have. In case you are getting fake currency again with a new currency of ours, then there's an alarm bell which must ring.
As far as my information goes, India has not changed its paper sourcer. It has got India's own paper sources, but there's still a small percentage that India still gets from Delaru. That's my information. I could be wrong. If somebody from the raw IB is watching, you don't have to say your name, but you can just say yes or no by way of comment, so that we know that this game has now completed. It's out. The game is up. We also predict that the 500 also will be phased out. It's going to happen very suddenly. And then afterwards, 200 and UPI will be your main sources of expenditure and income. And that also will make sure that everybody's income is established. Baat ki baat, that you have to pay taxes or not. Simultaneously, I think India will raise the tax ceiling so that, common person doesn't get affected. I think Modi has more or less been generous. They're not doing any abrupt things. They're not assuming that those who are paying tax are all guilty. All that stuff is not happening. Much more a gentler touch. I think that's how I see it. Colonelji, if you want to add something to that, please feel free, and then afterwards we can take some questions.
No, all that I can say is that incidents will happen, Shiriji. Valley appears to be very peaceful today. Poonch and Rajouri area is again showing a lot of normalcy. Nothing can be taken for granted. So our countrymen should, and all those people who love India sitting in far lands, they should be. We should be patient, even if something happens. Let's grant our agencies, our security forces that much that nobody wants to get killed, nobody wants the damage, the hard work of so many years which has led us to this place today. Nobody wants to throw it in the dustbin for nothing. So if something happens, all that forces or agencies are looking for is possible. Not looking for, I mean, they deserve that support, unconditional support, a bit of patience, and give them time, couple of days, 2 days, 3 days for the night news to emerge. It's okay to say Dawood mara gaya or ye mara gaya. Unko you can keep talking, you can keep spreading whatever kind of news you can. But when it comes to our own security forces, our own country, we should be very careful what we are saying, what we are sharing. And like this, we were expecting the video of what happened in gypsy killing. We were expecting a lot of things also happened thereafter. Mutilation of body also happened in that incident. So we were actually expecting that video to come and get circulated. And so if you would have seen in Twitter, a lot of people were proactively appealing to people that in case you get that kind of video, please don't circulate. Don't get into public space. And I think this is what we can do. Commoners, forces are doing their work, agencies are doing their work, and slowly we're inching. And currency thing, of course, you requested people. I'll request once again, if somebody is watching the show, either here or government should come out with a statement somewhere that okay, that currency at least 38,000 rupees, was that real or fake, so that we have a public has an idea before some rumors start circulating again.
Colonel, I have one question. We touched upon it, but we didn't cover it in some detail. You have said in the past that Pir Panjal is the one that separates Kashmir from Jammu. And there has been a fair amount of quietness on the other northern side of Pir Panjal, which leads to Kashmir. Now, this side, we talked about, the weather doesn't freeze and people can still move about. My question, sir, is the way this is going about. When the Union Territory elects its assembly, my understanding is that the government is going to be always functioning out of Srinagar, not in Jammu. Or is there going to be some sort of a double decision-making center? What is the idea in government's mind?
Shiriji, earlier there was a disparity as far as number of seats are concerned. There's no doubt about that. So anybody from Jammu couldn't have become a CM. That was plain and straight. Ghulam Nabi Azad, of course, became a CM from Jammu province. But then we know his alignment, his affiliation, and his education, schooling, everything was in Srinagar. So he was practically from Kashmir. Now seats almost parity has been achieved, and with the nominated seats, which for Kashmiri Pandits and refugees, the 3 seats, now it will be balanced. That is sure. But yes, your point is right. Kashmiris vote en masse. I mean, who's contending in J&K? Congress, PDP, NC, and BJP. BJP will not get any votes in Kashmir, whatever they may do. This is a reality they must accept. Unless until there's a pseudo party proxy who fights for them, BJP will not get any votes in Kashmir part. That is gone. So if that happens, so all these 3 parties, Congress, PDP, and NC, they're capable of stitching a alliance coalition anytime. They've done it earlier, they'll do it again. Now in Jammu, seats get divided. BJP has a big hold. Then PDP has own votary. NC and Congress, being oldest parties of the state, they have their own fan following. So you are right. Even with this parity being achieved, you will always have power center in Kashmir. So logically or ethically, if CM is from Kashmir, the deputy CM has to be from Jammu. No, because population and votes and seats are almost same. And that also been happening. Now, this decision of Mehbooba Mufti, which I was referring to, it was taken in a cabinet where there was no minister from Jammu, despite deputy CM being from Jammu. So one thing is, Shiriji, intent. Now, intent is something is very difficult to predict. People can go down to such a level where you send non-Kashmiri leaders out and take a decision which was such a nasty decision to take. Otherwise, a sensible government will have a balance, can have a balance, where you have equal representation of Jammu and Kashmir, of course, CM, deputy CM, then one minister, other minister. How it pans out, one doesn't know. But one good thing is there, if it is UT, then central government and LG will have powers which a normal governor doesn't have. So some kind of check will always be there. So that is something which gives us hope. In any case, ask me, I'm not very keen to see elections very soon. Let the developmental projects get over. Let those people who come and make money out of projects, they should have no powers as long as the roads are being built, railways are being built, other things are being built. Uske baad dekhte hain. And like I always keep saying, that with this break of few years, we are now watching grassroots level leadership emerging, which was not there earlier. Now, because of Panchayat, BDC, DDC elections, we see young leaders coming up, who wouldn't have come up had the earlier system existed. So give them a couple of more years, so that you have people contesting like Sir Fargudullah, Mehbooba Mufti, and people challenging them, good people. So I think what is going to happen, nobody can predict. We can only be optimistic. And with the LG superimposed, I foresee a much more balanced kind of a. I'll give you an example. There were PHE workers here, those daily wager people who were employed by government. There was a budgetary issue, so they were employed in thousands. So daily wages are when government doesn't have any other obligation than paying them daily wage. No, there's no gratuity to be paid, no pension to be paid, no medical, nothing. It's an unfair thing to do, but okay, they did it. So they were in thousands in Jammu and thousands in Kashmir. So one day government took a decision that these people should be regularized. Shiriji, within 24 hours, all workers in Kashmir Valley were regularized. All workers. And nothing happened in Jammu for 3 days. And somebody went to court and took a stay. So what happened? Those who had been regularized, they became employees. Today they are retired. They're drawing their pensions. And their counterparts who were in Jammu, they are still sitting in the protest on road outside DC's office in basic district headquarters and asking for, and the case is going on in court. So since it is in court, so no decision has been taken. They still remain on daily wages. They are now beyond their pensionable age. They are not supposed to work, but they get no pensions. This kind of disparity which used to happen, the dadagiri which we call it, hopefully will not happen under central government's watch.
Colonel Raina, when the stay was given by the High Court, there should have been applicable to all those people who were regularized also. I mean, that means that nobody gets regularized salaries. How did they make an exception there?
Shiriji, people came and sat on government lands in Jammu. So the Roshni Act, you would have heard about it.
Right.
High Court has given clear orders that all those guys should be evicted from, simply because this is all forest land. This is not government land. Normal. There's a difference between normal government land, revenue land, and forest land. Forest land is naturally very sensitive. When you sit on a forest land, you're cutting trees, you're killing the grass, you're killing the plants, and then the floods happen, everything happen. Nobody's moved out. So High Court gives a judgment, throw them out, nobody's thrown out. Government goes to in protection in favor of those people who are squatting on government property. Government is gone to Supreme Court. So that's what I'm saying. Here there are 100 verdicts I can quote you where government courts have given a decision and government has either ignored it or applied it selectively. So this is what all 370 used to do. You had your own laws, you had your own procedures, so you could block anything, any inquiry from center. Now with those things gone, there's defense mechanism gone, with the LG superimposed on politicians. That's why I'm hopeful that as and when elections happen, if government changes a bit of bureaucracy before that, gets new faces, new fresh minds from outside, so we can hope for a better future in the years to come.
Thank you so much, Raina ji. I think it makes sense to have two separate union territories, Jammu separate and Kashmir separate. I don't know why the government is so, ये क्यों इतना तुले हुए हैं कि जम्मू एंड कश्मीर करते रहेंगे? If one side is showing blatant partiality, why have it together?
Shiriji, Jammu suffered when Punjab terrorism happened. Jammu suffered when Kashmir terrorism happened. You know, when mobile connectivity in Kashmir used to be stopped, Jammu also used to have a blackout. A reason given was, if Jammu is given mobile connectivity or internet is kept on, and Kashmir it is cut off, where disturbance is happening, Kashmiris will feel bad. Imagine, you asking me, the High Court, this was the thing, that for an incident happening in Kashmir Valley, restrictions being imposed in Kashmir Valley used to also be imposed in Jammu just for parity. Unko bura na lag jaye. So that was the mindset. Very, very bad and very, very unfortunate thing. But this is how it was. Now what is happening is bureaucracy. I think I mentioned here only. Ghulam Nabi Azhar time, all IAS officers, when you qualify in IAS, you may belong to any state. You are given a state cadre. So a man from Jammu and Kashmir will be serving in Karnataka, somebody serving in Andhra, somebody serving in Mizoram. So Ghulam Nabi Sahab under Manmohan government took a decision, recommended them that let the Kashmiri IAS officers come back to Kashmir and serve own people, so that kind of autonomy and watered down 370 kind of a thing will happen. So all these guys came back. Now those guys they were serving their political masters. Somebody was a special assistant to one minister, some other minister. The ministers have gone, but those officers have now risen to ranks and they have become very senior. So the thought process and mentality unfortunately remains the same. Today also they report to their ex-masters who gave them good lives, send them to Europe and the US for courses as a reward for serving them. So they remain loyal to them. So the problem will continue. What you're saying is what a logical mind will say or ask. What happens here or used to happen here could beat any logic. That's the problem. I only hope that with new kind of setup, things improve. And as far as Jammu and Kashmir UTs are concerned, I being a Dogra, I would love to have Jammu need not be a UT. Jammu is big enough to have a state's stature. Jammu province is very big, right from Pathankot or Punjab border all the way to Poonch and then Badlata, Kishtwar joining up Himachal. We are a huge state. We are bigger than, even if you cut it off, it's bigger than many states. But when you look at from a macro point of view, Shiriji, point comes in that today when all kinds of elections are happening in Jammu and Kashmir, you have panchayat elections which were not happening earlier, only happened once in a very shoddy manner. You have BDC, DDC, and you have parliament elections happening as before. Even then, on all international stage forums, Pakistan and Turkey and Malaysia, they've been shouting that there's no democracy left in Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir is being ruled by Delhi. So tomorrow when you cut it out, make Jammu a separate UT or separate state, that propaganda point, which Indians are very bad at countering. We do not even, when Pakistan goes to UN and says UN conventions resolution, we don't even say that in Shimla agreement we signed on a paper saying hereafter there's no UN, nothing, we will sort it out ourselves. So we keep quiet even there. So if given that kind of a reality, this is given a fuel to, it will give fuel to anti-India people sitting outside who will say, देखो जम्मू भी independent हो गया, सब हो गया, लद्दाख वैसे लग हो गया, Kashmir is being ruled by Delhi. So that is one point which at a very high level or macro level goes against us. When you look at Washington Post and New York Times and all your friends writing nonsense, either India should become thick-skinned, then yes, why not? Yes. But well, I think this is a reason.
I expect that come May or June, this government will come with an even bigger majority. And I think from there on, India can say, you can do whatever you want, write whatever you want. The people have spoken and sort of like show the middle finger to the Washington Post and the New York Times of the world. We don't care. We really don't care. The viewership, the readership is so low, abysmally low. It is just all these diplomats getting orgasms reading about these things. That's all. There's nothing there. These people are going, gone. That's what they are. And we'll see. I mean, people didn't want to pay for electricity. When you gave them prepaid meters, they just came and destroyed them. Sorry, what kind of an attitude is that? Don't give electricity. Everybody else in India has to pay for their electricity. What makes you? Do you have horns on your head or what? So see, these are all. I think they are going really soft. See, what they should have done. Actually, simple thing, Colonel Raina, this is the last observation. They need to construct a house that the CM will live, not the house that the CM has acquired or inherited for life. All those houses belong to the government. Not only them, there are a lot of senior officers who are all sitting on houses that have been deeded by the government. Nothing like that. There is no such thing. Everybody has to get the F out of there, and then you figure out what you want to do. This needs to happen because they'll create a lot of trouble, yes, but this has to be done in one swift move, and just open one door or one wall of one of these loud mouths, and you will know what all the things are hidden inside the walls. That's all you need to do. So even good old 1,000 rupee notes also might be found. So we'll see how it goes.
No,
Thank you. Yeah.
if you compare with the old days, a lot of things are changing. Like all the Hurriyat guys shouting anti-India slogans and used to have Indian protection, Indian government giving them protection. The gypsy in front, gypsy behind, police guys looking after them and all that. Those things are changing. But yes, I only say that you just be very clear about application of law. Constitution gives government and authorities a lot of powers. Those powers, like you said, if those powers are being applied elsewhere, why not in Kashmir? So the danda should be same for everybody. People will react the way you treat them, Shiriji. When they know that they'll break the meters, nothing will happen. Electricity will still come. Why won't they break the meters? जब पता हो कि डंडा आएगा. Same UP and Modi, Yogi ji, you see the change.
Thank you, sir. Let's take a few questions now. Rahul Basu wants to know, Colonel sir will confirm in this live if Sree sir asks him about this news. Which one? Rahul, which was the news you wanted to know? Masood Azhar gone to meet 72 hoors today morning, New Year gift?
Masood Azhar, 𝗤𝙬𝙤𝘀𝘆, all this guy have gone to meet hoors as per many people many times. So we should hold our horses. We're very happy if it happens. We pray it happens. His number 2 was killed, Tariq, about 4 months back, I think. So he was crippled as it is. But Masood Azhar, I'll tell you one thing. He is the most timid, coward terrorist ever produced, ever walk on this earth. You must study about him. So he's inconsequential, but yes, as a symbolic head or ceremonial head of a very bad or very nasty organization, Jaish-e-Mohammed, his departure is welcome. But we have no confirmed news. Shiriji's platform doesn't speculate. So I leave it to Shiriji to respond. I have no confirmed news about this.
Thank you, sir. Next question, please. Partha wants to know the news for TOT for IAI Heron TP ITAN was delayed this day, but as I type, I can track first log IAI Heron. Sir, थोड़ा इसको unpack कीजिए. क्या है ये sir? What does it mean?
TOT is time on target in army lingo. I don't know what. Parthaji, if you could just write simple without abbreviations, I think it will be better. Because, yeah.
All launch pads of terrorists have been shifted from border to interior areas. What could be the outcome of surgical strikes in retaliation?
See, surgical strikes that time was need of an hour. It was the first action India ever gave to Pakistan. Today, surgical strikes, like you rightly brought out, will not help. Something, if India wants to react, it has to be done. Balakot was again, it was not even POJ, it was inside Pakistan. So from surgical strike, we graduated to Balakot. So if you ask me, why not blow up LET headquarters or Jaish-e-Mohammed headquarters in Bahawalpur? Why not? That kind of a thing. Whatever you may do, when you have a society which is subverted, which is fed jihadi dose every day to divert their minds, if anybody thinks that by killing few or blowing up a headquarters, problem will start, no. So unless until the whole country gets crippled, their financial system, everything gets crippled, Pakistan disintegrates, this problem will continue in some form or other. We've seen prosperous Pakistan was always dangerous. Even now, when they don't have atta to eat, they're still what they're doing in Rajouri, Poonch, again money is playing. So these things are done as a kind of symbols or kind of showing enemy, okay, we can do this. So put some fear of mind thing in their mind. You know what is happening before surgical strike? Pakistan line of control was very thinly manned because no Indian will ever cross over. Any Indian going into Pakistan from across line of control had to be a Kashmiri looking for a gun or sent by overground workers for training into Pakistan. Whereas our line of control was fully manned. Our jawans were having sleepless nights. They were sitting in minus 30, minus 40 degree temperature guarding. Once surgical strike happened, Pakistan also started putting them. Now their troops also sit in the night and watch because they now know the Indians can come. So there are other things which happen, which have a very long-term effect. But such actions can't really eradicate terrorism, if that is the aim.
Next one. Thank you, Robbie Sharma. Thank you, Rajat Rana. Thank you, Ram Susarla. Gumnami Baba wants to know, how will the induction of Mahindra Armada Jeep semi-function in terrorist attacks?
See, it gives you protection from the bullets. The glass and body is bulletproof. If somebody's buried a mine under in the Kacha road and blows it up, then of course it will not really survive. But of course, sending somebody in gypsies or in a 1 ton or 3 ton or 2.5 ton vehicle, which are operating, which are there, two vehicles, and the soft skin vehicles, and this Jeep which has been modified to withstand bullets, of course, there's a big advantage. And these vehicles move fast. They don't take that much of road space, and they can also climb into places where gypsies used to climb. No other vehicles will climb. So it will help.
Next one, please. Yeah. Ravinder Kaul wants to know, whatever development takes place in Kashmir, these Kashmiris would not vote for BJP out of hate. Kashmir is developed rapidly more than Jammu, but still no vote.
Yeah, this is what, though it will change, Col Sahab. I already mentioned this. BJP will not get any votes there because games being played there are different. But if Kashmir is returning to normalcy, so maybe 10, 20 years down the line, they'll see the sense that who's done the development, who's done what for them, and the younger generation may change. As of date, I agree with you. BJP will get nothing in Kashmir.
Next one, please. Shan wants to know, why Army not providing specialized armored personal carriers via Kalyani M4, Mahindra Stranton Plus for jawans in conflict areas?
Army is providing, like I mentioned initially, vehicles are now coming in. Let's grant them this much, that for almost 12 years, lever bullet, not a stone, was thrown in Rajouri Poonch belt area. De-induction had happened. So whatever resources Army had, are like, if you go to Kashmir, you find all these vehicles there because threat perception was such. Now threat perception has changed. So they are not pulling out things from Kashmir, but they are now sending right kind of equipment into this sector, which was lying dormant for a long time. It is coming in. Shan Saab, it comes slowly, but it is already started.
Thank you so much, sir. And that brings us to a close of today's session. As always, a very informative session from Colonel Raina. Viewers, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.
Namaskar, Shri.